Okay, so following the tour in support of their 1977 album Love Gun, Hall of Fame Thunder Rockers Kiss decided to release a double live album to be titled Kiss Alive 2, the follow-up to their 1975 Double Live Alive collection. Now, in order to make this record a double disc set in the manner of Alive 1, in an effort to not have to repeat songs, the band decided to record a side of new studio tracks. In fact, it's bassist Gene Simmons who takes credit for that idea. He said this back in 2003. We all said that we needed to make Alive 2 different from Alive. I got the idea of putting new studio songs on side 4 from a ZZ Top live album, where half of it was live and the other half was new material. And in fact, even some of the quote-unquote live tracks from Alive 2, namely the songs Hard Luck Woman and Tomorrow and Tonight, which were not part of the band's live set list, were actually recorded live during sound check on that Love Gun tour. Now, Kiss frontman, guitarist, vocalist, star child Paul Stanley wasn't thrilled with the idea of recording those 5 new studio tracks for side 4 of Alive 2. Here's what he said back in 2014. I wasn't keen on the idea. We recorded the tracks at the Capitol Theater in Passaic, New Jersey to give them a live feel. I had All American Man, which I'd written with Sean Delaney, but overall, the songs we came up with just weren't great. And frankly, I'm going to have to go ahead and disagree with Mr. Paul Stanley about those new studio tracks, because I think some of those tracks are pretty fantastic Kiss tunes. I mean, the song, even the song Paul makes reference to, All American Man, I think is a pretty awesome song. Paul's got some great swagger on that tune. The little bald fellow, Bob Kulick, played some blistering lead work on that track. He was filling in for Ace, who was flaking out at around that time, having trouble getting to the studio. So they brought little Bob in there, little bitty Bob in there. My only issue with All American Man, which is a kick-ass Paul Stanley song, is where the line where he goes, I'm a 6-foot hot look. Like, what does that mean, Paul? Hi, I'm Paul Stanley. I'm a 6-foot hot look all-American man. Well, you're a hot-looking man, Paul? You want to tell everyone how hot-looking you are? That's my only issue with that song. Just goes to show that our buddy Paul Stanley, even when he's at his best, has a knack for making us cringe. But I love you, Paul. You know that. Gene Simmons, his song, Larger Than Life, is a great Gene tune. He's in full demon mode, and some more great lead work from Bob Kulick on that one. Rocket Ride, Ace Frehley's song, the only new song Ace actually played on. One of my favorite Ace tunes. I did a video earlier about it, about the great metaphor, about the rocket ride. Not talking about a rocket to the moon, talking about a rocket in the bedroom. Pretty kick-ass Ace song. As far as the song Any Way You Want It, the cover of the old Dave Clark 5 song, frankly, I've heard the original, and I'm not blown away by that song. I recently, and I love a lot of that old British invasion stuff, but I went back and revisited that song for this video, and the Kiss version has kind of a little proto-punk vibe to it, which really didn't do much more for me anyways in terms of my opinion of the song. I still think it kind of sucks. But anyway, let's get on to the song that Mr. Paul Stanley used to bust Gene Simmons' balls about. It's the other original tune from that side of Alive 2, a song called Rockin' in the USA. Now, Rockin' in the USA, I always thought was a pretty good little rock and roll tune, man. I think it's obviously a tip of the hat to the old Chuck Berry number, Back in the USA. But I always liked the song. But apparently, the other guys in the band did not feel that way. And Mr. Paul Stanley really used to bust Gene Simmons' balls about that song. Here's what Gene Simmons had to say about Rockin' in the USA back in 2003. Everybody in the band hates it, especially Paul. He thinks it's schlock, just the worst. We go to do our makeup, and often he starts singing it as a kind of, boy, is that lame. We were on tour, and I'm very patriotic about America. It made everything possible for me. And I always read my own comments, and I come off sounding like one of these hard hat guys. You know, if you don't love America, then get the F out. And yes, Gene Simmons has been unabashedly pro-American and patriotic throughout the years. In numerous interviews, he's recounted the story of how he came to this country as a child with his mother from Israel. He's called America the Promised Land, and he's been very unapologetically pro-American and patriotic. And I think that was what he was trying to put across with that song, the song that Paul Stanley has broken his balls about, as if everything Paul Stanley has written is gold. But I guess this was before Paul had written Bang Bang You. So that's what Gene Simmons had to say about that song, Rockin' in the USA. Very patriotic, very defensive when it comes to the sentiment of that song, Rockin' in the USA. Say what you want to say about the lyrics. I think it's a good little rock and roll tune. Throwback to Chuck Berry, the Beach Boys, that kind of stuff. I dig it. Mr. Paul Stanley does not. So that's the video. Please let me know your opinions in the comments as they pertain to the topics discussed hitherto. And we'll see you next time.
See here.